In this video, we're going to talk about synthetic division. There is also a method called long division that you did when you were in 5th grade. But for the sake of ease, I'm going to show you synthetic division because it actually is less confusing. So if we're given a polynomial divided by some other polynomial and we're asked to simplify, we cannot simply go and cross out the x's and see what's divisible by 7. We can't do that. So we have to treat this as one complete number, and this is one complete number. So just imagine for a minute that this is the number 150 divided by 6. Okay? So that's the sort of thing that we're looking at. So before I get ahead of myself, I want to show you some other ways that this question could be asked. So these are all different ways of asking us to divide. It could say divide x cubed minus 57x plus 56 by x minus 7, which is what this is another way. These both mean the same thing. It could be, is x equals 7 a root of that polynomial? That's the other way of asking the same question. It could be, is x minus 7 a factor of that polynomial? It's also asking a similar question. And then lastly is, what is p of 7 given p of x is x cubed minus 57x plus 56. On this last one here, this is a special condition right here. And we're going to look at this in just a second. So this one here is a little different from the others. This here is asking for the remainder only. Okay, so there's also another way of doing that, but we're going to, since we're talking about synthetic division, we're going to look at all these. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we are dividing by the 0. So we have to divide by the 0. Now I didn't say divide by 0, I'm saying divide by the 0, which means that we're going to look right here at our denominator. So I have x minus 7, and if I want to know what the 0 is, I have to make it x equals a number. So that means I'm going to divide by the number 7. So whatever that is, take my factor, I'm going to divide by the 0 of that factor. So that means, I'm going to write this down here because it's going to take a little bit of space. So leave yourself some space because I'm going to write some other things here. So that means I'm going to write my 7 here. Then watch carefully how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my division thing upside down with a space. So notice there's a space here. That's important. So now what I'm going to put here are the coefficients, no x's. So the only thing I will see in here is numbers. But before I do that, let's go ahead and what does a cubic look like in standard form? A cubic in standard form would be ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. So let's use those as column headers of our polynomial. So my x cubed goes here, my x term is over here, and my d term is here. So what's my value of a? My value of a is 1. What is my value of b if I do not have an x squared term? That is 0x squared. That's very important that you put that in there because we need what's called placeholders. So I'm going to put this number in, all these coefficients. This one here is a placeholder because in my original I'm missing that x squared term. So that means I'm going to put 1, 0, negative 57, 56. So all those coefficients go in. Now watch very closely what I'm doing. It's actually a pattern. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply bring down this first digit. Now everything else is multiplying the outside numbers, and we add the inside numbers. So this is what I mean. 7 times 1 is 7. So I write that right there. Then I add these two. 0, I'm going to put a little plus here. 0 plus 7 is 7. Then I multiply the outside numbers. 7 times 7 is 49. And again, then I am taking negative 57 and I'm adding 49 to it. So I get negative 8. I'm adding. I'm going to put that little sign there. So now I'm going to multiply 7 times negative 8. 7 times negative 8, and I get negative 56. So now my remainder is 0. So let's see what happens. I'm not done. This is all synthetic. So depending on the question I'm being asked, I have to pull this out as synthetic. So that means I have to think about what do each of these values, think of them as placeholders, represent. Notice I put this box around here. This here is the remainder. This here is your constant. This here is your x, and this here is your x squared term. So that means that if I take x cubed minus 57x plus 56 and I divide it by x minus 7, that is actually going to give me, what do I have here, 1x squared plus 7x minus 8. Okay, so this divided by this gives me this. So this is how I would write my answer if it's just simply asking me to divide. If it's asking this question here, what is P at 7? The answer is my remainder. So my remainder is 0. So let me ask you this. If we have a remainder of 0, is x minus 7 a factor of our number? The answer is yes, because there's no remainder. So I can say x minus 7 is a factor of x cubed minus 57x plus 56. I could say x equals 0, equals 7 is a root or 0 of x cubed minus 57x plus 56. Okay, and I think that answers all of our questions up there. So that is how you do synthetic division. And we're going to look at another synthetic division problem that does not have a remainder of 0 in the next video.